Hi everyone, this is James from Barbechoo.com, and today we're talking about rubs, when you should buy them and when you should make your own. So rubs are something that we all use to add flavour to our barbecue. No matter if we're beginners or slightly more advanced, everybody adds them to their meat. Now when I first started out, I was a purist. I was like, I'm going to develop and make all my own rubs. I'm going to have my own range of signature rubs, and they're going to be unlike anything anybody's ever seen. I quickly realised as a beginner though that I didn't have the flavour palette to match up a certain rub with a certain meat to get a specific flavour. So then I moved over to using pre-made rubs. So in my mind, there are three real options that I want to go over today for you if you're just getting started and you're thinking about making your own rubs or you're not sure whether you should. So this is kind of the process I think everybody should go through, and I'll explain some of my reasons behind it. So the first one is using pre-made rubs. As I said in that little intro, that whenever you're first starting out, you're not entirely sure what goes into these rubs, what flavours they're trying to achieve with them, and then what that goes with. So by using a pre-made rub, they generally recommend what they're for. So if it's for beef, chicken, pork, whatever, they'll say what it suits best. Then you can go and read the ingredients in the back of it and start to understand that with beef, there may be certain things that are usually added into a rub. With chicken, there's maybe a slightly different set of ingredients go into that. You'll not know what ratios to put them in yet, but that's where the incredibly smart people who develop all these things, they have done years of testing. They didn't just start out and come up with these straight away. They have tried over and over and over again and perfected that recipe. So as a beginner, it's hard for you to replicate that. But you can read the ingredients in the back of it, you can taste it and understand how those ingredients go with certain foods, and that's what gets you that real basis of how flavour profiles work. Now you may never take it past that stage. You might be happy just to use pre-made rubs all your life, and really the variety of stuff that's out there now, I kind of find it hard to understand why you would want to make your own. But it's something that people like to try and maybe come up with their own signature one. But definitely there's so many companies like Smoky Bray, Angus and Oink, hired over at the Smoky Carter, Firefly, the list is endless, and there's some really good homegrown rubs there as well. So as with everything in barbecue, I recommend you keep notes on your rubs you use, so you know that when you want to achieve a specific flavour, you know which rub to go to get it. And if that's as far as you want to take it, have at it. That is more than enough. You will never run out of rubs to try in the barbecue world today. So moving on from that then, we're talking about making your own rubs but using other people's recipes. So almost every cookbook you get today will have a section in it for rubs, and these are the rubs that are used for the cooks in that book. But the great thing about these is that you'll be making them up yourself, so you know exactly the ratios of everything that's going into them, but it's already been sort of trial and error by somebody else. So they have come up with the ratios that work, but because you're putting it together, you can physically see how much salt, how much sugar, how much paprika, pepper, everything that goes into it, and then whenever you taste it, you can understand that, okay, that level of salt and that level of sugar and pepper gave me this result. Then you can start tweaking other people's recipes to your own taste. So again, keep notes on what you liked about it. Maybe you thought it was too hot, maybe you thought it wasn't hot enough, so you can up the chili content or the cayenne pepper or something like that to add a little bit more heat to it. At that point, that's where you're starting to experiment. So you're using these recipes as a base rub, and then you're tweaking different flavours in that to get something that you like. So chances are you already have a few books about you. This is the Hangfire Cookbook. Highly recommend their Yardbird rub. It's one of my favourites on chicken. But give them a try, keep notes on what you like about them, what you don't like about them, and then adjust them to your own. Okay, then finally, if you have tried every rub out there in the market today and it's not doing it for you, you've tried recipes online, you've tried every recipe out of your book, and it's still not scratching that itch, you can start from scratch yourself. So today I want to go through a sort of really basic barbecue rub. We're going to do this in different stages just to show you and maybe help you to understand what the flavours are like and why you would add certain things in to get a different flavour. So in my bowl here I have equal parts salt and pepper, and this forms sort of the basis of any rub. So this is just smoked sea salt and this is smoked pepper, both of them from Smoky Brae. But if you mix those up, that will give you your basic Texas style brisket seasoning. So in Texas they don't like to use much more than salt and pepper on their beef. So once that's mixed together, that's your first basic rub. To take this up to the next level then, we can go in with garlic granules. Now salt, pepper and garlic has been made sort of famous by the Barbecue Pit Boys as the SPG mixture. To take that then to one extra level, you can add onion granules to it. So it's salt, pepper, onions and garlic. And if you add those in and mix them all around, that gives you sort of an all-purpose seasoning. And they're quite savoury flavours at this point. So again, it's great for beef, good on pork as well. But if we want to start going down the more well-known barbecue rub, we want to add a few more spices to it. So here I have paprika, cumin, cayenne pepper and dried mustard. Those four things, add it in there. Again, they're still savoury flavours, there's not a lot of sweetness in there, but the paprika and mustard gives a good earthiness to it. Cumin again gives that real nice smoky flavour, and finally then the cayenne is where you get the heat from. So we're still on the savoury lines here, so again a good beef rub. This is only a base starting rub for you to work from, so you'll taste this on your preferred meat, see what you like about it, see what you don't like about it and start to adjust. But these are just sort of some common flavours you would get in a rub. So far we've been going pretty savoury with everything. All the spices are real sort of earthy flavours. If you're wanting a real sweet rub for ribs or pulled pork, or to do it on some chicken or something like that, that's when you would add the sugar, and the sugar would be in equal proportions to the salt and pepper, at least in any I've tried anyway. Again, completely down to personal preference. So I'm going in here with some smoked sugar again from Smoky Brae. Again, beef rubs don't tend to have a lot of sugar in them. They tend to be more heavy on the pepper side of things, so you wouldn't maybe add sugar into it. You maybe increase the pepper content if you're wanting to do a beef rub. So we finally mix all that through, and that gives us our good sort of general barbecue rub. Now as I said, this is only a starting point. This is where you take it and you start to make it your own, so you adjust anything that we've put into it so far. You can then move into different flavour profiles as well. So if you want to take it to the more sort of Middle Eastern side flavours, you can add turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, things like that. Them spices are really going to take it in that flavour profile. You can also play around then with dried herbs, so basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme. Adding those in are just going to add another level of flavour to it. So this is where you start from and you build from there. And again, we've addressed the sort of savoury versus sweet side of things, but there's another element in heat. So we have a little bit of cayenne pepper in this, so it's not an overly hot rub. You can add more cayenne pepper, or you can go into chili powder or chili flakes even in your rub, depending on what you're going for. So if you're doing hot wings, you might want it a little bit hotter. So that's where you start to adjust the flavours. The key thing is to understand when you want savoury flavours, what you add or take away, when you want sweet flavours, what you add or take away, and that's where it's kind of a struggle whenever you're a beginner to jump in and get that right straight away. So if you are only starting making your own rubs, try and make them small batches. I say this isn't too much, this is enough for a few cooks, but you don't want to be making kilos of this stuff and it maybe not taste right and you're not sure what to add or what to take away. Make small individual batches, then you can use them, keep notes on what you liked and didn't like, and then make a new batch with those adjustments to it. So once you find a rub you're happy with the right ratios in there, make up a batch of it, put it into a sealed storage jar that's going to be airtight, and it'll keep for 6 months in the cupboard easy. So again, making rubs isn't something I do a lot. I tend to use a lot of pre-made ones, mainly because I have so many of them, the place is coming down with them. But in my mind, there's so many rub manufacturers out there now, and they're doing such a good job at it. If you want a specific flavour, there is guaranteed to be a rub out there somewhere that has that flavour profile. But if you want a tinker, this is perfect for you as a starting point. I have actually got in the description of this video a link to download a little bit of a cheat sheet for this rub. So it takes you through each of those stages of what we add it to at the end to take it to the different level. So you can go down there, enter your email address, and it'll be automatically sent to you. I would love to hear in the comments below whether you make your own rubs, if you've tried it in the past, or whether you purely stick to pre-made rubs, and maybe your reasoning behind it. So jump into the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.